Blind Lounge Productions.
In a dark void, a light bulb explodes with the Blind Lounge logo appearing in the center and then disappearing.
This is me.
This is me.
This is me.
这是我.
This is me.
This is me.
And this is us.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of This Is Us, where I have a chance or opportunity to interview some of the members of this group so you guys can get to know a little bit more about them. So up first, we have Michelle Jorgenson. I said it right?
Yeah.
All right, so say hey to everybody, Michelle.
Hey everyone.
So, real quick, gonna go ahead and jump into some formalities. So we know your name. How old are you and where are you from?
I'm 26 years old and I live in Kelowna, British Columbia, in Canada.
Oh, wow. Okay, Canada. All right. Our neighbors up north. Okay, so for those of us who are totally blind, like myself, can you give us like a short physical description?
I'm about 5'4", about 145 pounds, kind of medium length brown hair. It's just past my neck, like around my collarbone length, brown eyes, and I am Caucasian.
Okay. So what is the nature of your vision loss and how long have you been dealing with it?
I've been legally blind since I was born. So I have a eye disorder called PFV, which I think stands, I know it's persistent fetal, I think it's vitreous or vasculature or something like that. I have no idea.
Okay.
So basically the blood vessels in my eyes are tilted forward so the light doesn't get through properly. Okay. And yeah, like glasses don't work. There was potential for one very experimental surgery that like realigning the blood vessels one by one. But they said that there was about a 95% chance that the blood vessels would rupture, causing my eyes to hemorrhage, and I would have to have them replaced by glass eyes. So I kind of said, hey, maybe take a chance on the left one because I'm completely blind out of my left eye. Okay. But I do have about 10% vision out of my right eye, which I would like to keep. So I want to take the risk. Right.
And then the vision that you do have left, it's like a peripheral or is it cloudy or?
It's like it's not peripheral. It's like basically full range of vision out of the right eye, but unless something is really, really close up, it pretty much just looks blurry. Like my color vision is fine. I can make out like shapes, colors, lights, all that kind of thing, but there's no way I'm going to be able to read anything that's probably like an inch away from my face, or more.
Okay, cool. Okay. And so, you are pretty new to the Blind Lounge. So how has your experience been in the Blind Lounge?
It's been pretty good overall. I gotta say, there's a lot of interesting people. There's a lot of fun conversation that goes on, and I've made a few friends from all over the world that I chat with on Messenger and WhatsApp, and yeah, it's been a really good experience. Being able to just kind of be fully open and myself and like just have fun, whether we're talking about casual, like, hey, where's everybody from? Or like, hey, here's this really controversial topic. Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Being able to have fun.
Yeah, and again, I think that's one of the great things about the group. I know, or at least I know that that's one of the things that we get complimented on the most. So, so now that we've gotten rid of the formality, let's go ahead and jump on in. So, all right. My first introduction to you, as I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware, was actually the show that was conducted by Petty Riley, Front and Center, where he talked about homosexuality. So, which it seems to be that you got a lot of attention from that show. I feel like that was your coming out party, for lack of a better phrase.
That was just my party.
Right. So sorry for that interruption there, guys. I ended up getting a phone call, but where I left off at, Michelle, was that I feel like your introduction, at least with me, and I'm sure to the group as well, and probably other ways, was on Petty Riley's show, Front and Center, where we talked about homosexuality. So what was your interaction after that, as far as from the group?
I would say about the same. I was pretty new to it still. I mean, I got a lot of friend requests, which, like, I decline a lot of friend requests if I haven't talked to the person before. So
right.
it's nothing personal. It's just like, I don't know who you are. You know?
Right.
Yeah, and I've been kind of chatting with people in the group, in the comment section, chatting on Messenger and stuff like that, and just getting some pretty good feedback on all the jokes we were cracking in there. So,
and the crazy thing is like I pretty much have the same philosophy as far as Facebook friends as you do. I'm not really too quick to just friend anybody and just have them kind of just sitting around, because I've heard so many horror stories of people, and so I'm just kind of like, at least if I can talk to you and know that you are a legit person and go from there, then I'm usually okay. But it's a lot of crazy stuff going on out here. So,
for sure.
Yeah. So outside of that, I know that there's a lot of programming that takes place within the group. Is there any other shows or activity that you personally can see yourself participating in or would like to participate in?
I'm checking out Boy Bye and really got my eyes on that.
Okay.
No pun intended, but jeez. That just looks like something it's such a great community and covers such awesome topics that I'm really, really looking at that, and would definitely be down to do front and center again, because that was just so much fun.
Yeah. Shout out to Petty Riley. Thank you for even having that show and giving people that platform to get out there and talk. One of the things that you actually notated earlier when we first started this interview is that you are from Canada.
Yeah.
So you, like I said, you are our neighbor to the north. So I've always just been intrigued about life in Canada and how it can be different, but sometimes the same as American life. So can you tell us a little bit of what it's like, especially now in these times, to live in Canada?
Oh man. It's not too bad. I don't think it's too different from the US. I've gone on little vacations down to America, down to Mexico, so I've been all over North America and kind of experienced briefly the cultures. So we're pretty much the same. We've got like the political division between like Republican, Democratic, conservative, liberal, that kind of thing. There's the back and forth there. We like our sports. And NFL is actually pretty big up here. Like, it's not like hockey is our really big thing, but we do like the NFL and football. Super Bowl, there's always a big party kind of thing there. UFC is another really big one. Me and my friends really get into that and love it. It's a little bit colder. I will say that for sure. Like, for myself, I technically live in the desert. I'm not too far north from the American border, so I definitely get the warmer weather. But when you get up north, it can get really, really, really cold. Like, we are in Celsius. We don't use Fahrenheit. We use Celsius. But, like, I have definitely felt minus 55 degrees Celsius.
Oh, my God.
Which is absolutely freezing. Yeah. So.
Oh, my Lord.
Yeah, so it can get damn cold up here. I mean, that's why I moved south. I am staying south. I'm not going back up there. It's too cold. It's not happening. But yeah, I guess like where we'll kind of see like up here, we'll see the stereotypes of like the South in the United States, and it's like, oh, like it's like the really country kind of. Well, that's our North. Like we're hunting, we're fishing, we're camping, we're like living that kind of lifestyle more up there. So, yeah.
Interesting. And I mean, and Lord, forgive me for saying it, because I've said this before when I've talked to other people from Canada, and I feel so bad. But like in my mind, when I envision like Canada, I feel like I see like dog sleds and huskies, and like
that's the thing. That's the thing
really?
up north. Yeah. Like up in the northern, really cold parts, for sure. I mean, I was living on the east side of Canada in Ontario, and I was living up north, and this is what I mean when I felt like minus 55. Damn, I'm not walking to the store in that. So like I was putting on like snow pants, hopping on a skidoo, driving down it. I know how people are reacting to this right now, but yeah, I definitely was at night hopping on my skidoo, driving over to the corner store to get some snacks. My blind ass just going across the highway like, that's the road. Like, yep.
Wow. Okay, so that really is a thing. Okay, so I don't feel so bad saying it now. Okay. Okay. Look, now I can breathe a sigh of relief.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. All right. So one of the things that you actually just mentioned, and you actually mentioned as well while we did our show with Petty Riley, was that you do kind of have a background in MMA and in judo.
Yeah.
So how did that get started?
That got started in theory when I was a kid because I would get bullied a lot in school. I had my eyes were crossed, and obviously I can't see. So people like to, because I was up in the northern part where it's like the really hillbilly rednecky kind of thing, people like to pick on me and try and fight me because of that. Like the boys in the school would try to beat me up because of that.
Wow.
So I was introduced to fighting at a young age where basically my father was like, we're not having this nonsense. Like this is not happening. And he was teaching me like how to punch, how to headbutt, how to whatever, just dirty scrap it out.
Right.
And then that kind of dealt with that issue, and then I graduated high school, and I found myself in a very abusive relationship. But we were also partying a lot at the time, and I was 18, so I was like dumb and not recognizing that this was a problem.
Okay.
So then I hit about 21, and I went, this is not okay. Like, I'm in danger. I do not deserve to get treated like this. I'm done. And I packed up all my stuff. I moved out to BC. Like, I flew across the country, moved to BC and got into university and started studying forensic psychology. So like studying the law, and my main goal was like, I focused on violent offenders, sexual offenders. And my main goal was like, if anyone pulls this crap, I'm gonna lock their ass up.
Right.
Halfway through that degree, I was working with volunteering with victim services, and I saw an ad for a self-defense class on Facebook, and I was like, I need this personally, but maybe some clients, maybe some coworkers would be interested in going with me. They actually didn't show up. I invited a bunch of people. I showed up, like one other person who I never met showed up. But that was my introduction into martial arts, and I was actually really happy to get into that because when I was a kid, I had so many like, oh, I can't teach you t-ball, I can't teach you swimming, I can't teach you piano, like you name it. I wasn't allowed to do it because they never had a blind student.
Right.
And then here was this guy, this black belt martial artist, and he's just like, I noticed you have some vision issues, just let me know what I can do to help. Like, is there anything I can do to help? And I said, I don't know, I've never done this before.
Right.
So he was just very welcoming and really took me in. And yeah, that's what initially got me into martial arts. So I started at that recreational martial arts club doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing. And yeah, so Jiu-Jitsu is like a grappling martial art. It's sort of like a combination of wrestling and judo. So like you throw people, you can do choke holds, joint locks on any and every joint in the body. Like there's like a spinal twister thing you can do. You can attack the wrists, the ankles, the shoulders, elbows, knees, whatever you want, but there's no striking.
Okay.
Muay Thai kickboxing, it's like regular kickboxing, but with the addition of knees and elbows.
Okay.
And like foot sweeps, like kick your opponent to the ground. So I've been doing those for 3 years, and about a year and a half ago, I got into judo because I met my current judo coach, Kathy Hubble. I met her at a jiu-jitsu seminar. She does jiu-jitsu as well, and she was like, you should come try judo. And I was like, yeah, sure. So I got into that about a year and a half ago, and I'm actually currently on the Canadian judo team. I've gone to the Para-Pan Ams, and we're shooting for Paralympics if it ever goes through.
Okay.
Yeah, and because of that, I've actually switched over. I switched MMA clubs. Well, the first club wasn't really an MMA. It was like a recreational kind of jiu-jitsu, kickboxing kind of thing. But I switched over to a competition MMA team at Toshido MMA.
Okay.
They're under Barrett submissions. So, like, if anyone does jiu-jitsu and under Barrett submissions, they're from America, and we're the Canadian affiliate.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I'm training with some of the people I train with now have gone to UFC and other big name fight leagues, and sometimes they kick the crap out of me, sometimes they let me kick the crap out of them, but we all get together and train to help each other get better, and train for self-defense, train for competition, and yeah, I've been actively competing since 2018, usually in the able fully sighted division.
Okay.
because I just don't have a lot of options for partners to compete against. There's very few women that will actually compete. So I do jujitsu, I do judo competitively.
Okay.
And yeah, really my only visually impaired division was at the Para Pan Ams. I've done 15 other competitions, and it's all been against fully sighted women. A lot of times they outweigh me. A lot of times they're at least one belt level above me. I've gone in as a blue belt fighting a 2nd degree black belt.
Oh, wow.
So that was fun. She launched me and tried to break my arm, but I held her off for a couple minutes. So I'm proud.
Right. Oh, wow. That is amazing. That is absolutely amazing. And the funny thing is, and me and you have also had this conversation at one point in time as well. I know that myself personally, I've been looking for different forms of, like maybe taking a defense class or whatnot. So for someone who actually might be interested or just looking for a way to defend themselves if it comes to something like that, what would be something that you would recommend?
Especially if you're visually impaired, I recommend Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, because I love all of these arts. I really do. But for Muay Thai kickboxing, do you want to stand there and strike with someone who can see you when you can't see them? And especially for myself being a woman, I can hit really hard. I have kicked as a demonstration. I did a self-defense demonstration up at my university, and one of the security guards let me kick him, and he was holding a shield and everything, and he got shot back across the room.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
And he was a big dude. He wasn't a small, but this is a man who knew I was going to kick him, and he still got launched, right? But I'm still a woman, right? If a guy comes at me with bad intentions, I'm not going to just stand there and trade punches with him.
Right.
But especially when you're visually impaired, jiu-jitsu, it's very tactile. You're in contact with the person, so you can throw them. You can do wrestling takedowns on them. You can choke them unconscious, break their arm, take out their shoulder, rupture their knee so they're not walking.
Right.
This person's not going to come after you. So that's something that I would definitely recommend, because you can take it as a sport or you can take it as self-defense, and it really will work either way. And it's a lot of fun, and it's a great community to be involved in as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't even, and if you don't mind me asking, I didn't know exactly what your line of work was. So it is in forensic psychology?
No, I would like to do that. I would absolutely love to do that. But I'm currently working, so we don't have states in Canada. We have provinces,
okay,
which is basically the same way of dividing it up. So I actually work for the provincial government. I work for the Ministry of Labor under employment standards, and I'm working for them in the corporate operations capacity. So making sure that our records are managed properly, making sure that if helping out with case files. So when someone comes in and says, hey, my employer didn't pay me, then we investigate it and find out if they're owed money, how much money they're owed, and we make sure that they get paid if there is any money outstanding.
So, and the amazing thing for me with this, and again, the more I meet people, the more I feel like I'm being educated. So again, to see people who are actually out in the workforce and doing things is always amazing to me. So with your job, what are some of the pieces of technology that you would say probably help you the most with your visual impairment?
So I have a large screen monitor on a swiveling arm that the ministry bought for me, which is amazing because it allows me to pull the monitor closer to me if needed, or move it, just kind of adjust it to where I need. And the monitor itself is bigger, so I have that larger space.
Okay.
I use a magnifier, a screen magnifier, to do my reading and stuff like that, because I don't really want to use a screen reader, especially if I'm working on new legislation or new licensing, or if I have a client's file open. The world doesn't need to know their contact information, right?
Right.
So I just use my magnifier, and that works great. I have a little handheld magnifier for any documents that I need to read. That's mostly what I use. They have their little ergonomic things. So they have stand up height adjustable desks. They have chairs that are contoured to your body so that you're sitting properly and not harming your back or anything like that. So
okay.
yeah, pretty sweet deal.
Okay. And last but not least, before I get ready to close this out and allow you to ask me anything, just getting into the workforce and being visually impaired, what was your experience like? Like, did you have any hurdles to jump through, or?
Oh, for sure. Not for this job, but I've definitely I've gone to interviews for jobs that have basically just shut me down because I'm visually impaired and they don't think I'm going to be able to like run a cash register. When it's like, well, I may use a magnifier, I may look closer, but I can run it. I've been fired. I worked at a women's shelter, which I'm actually trained to do. Like, my background is psychology.
Right.
You know, so when I'm dealing with people who are fleeing abuse, have substance abuse issues, that kind of thing, like, that's exactly what my education was to do, not to mention the fact that I'm literally a competitive fighter. So if you think that their ex is going to come in there and cause problems, think again. Right. So yeah, I was more than qualified, but I ended up getting fired because they were concerned that I couldn't see the women in their beds properly. So I mean, just a very feeble excuse, right?
Right.
But yeah, I've definitely run into those problems. But there's when there are people who are willing to give you the chance, like my current supervisor. I mean, like, we're talking about promotion right now, and I haven't even been working there for a year, and they're talking about promotion because they cannot believe like the attention to detail, the effort that I put in. And I'm like, I had to all my life. Like, this is all I know is working really hard because it takes me longer to read things. I have to prove my worth more often because of my visual impairment. Right. So really working hard is all I know. So I mean, like, I'm not going to slack on the job where they're giving me all these opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Even just listening to your story now, it just goes to show, like, you are a walking, breathing version of somebody who has been pretty much told, well, you shouldn't do this or you can't do this, and you have broken all of those stereotypes.
Because they piss me off. As soon as you tell me I can't do something, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, I remember being like 15 or something, and one of my high school teachers, she was like, well, what do you guys want to do when you grow up? I was like, I want to be a rock star. And she's like, well, maybe something more realistic. And now I'm just looking like, I have a full-time job writing legislation.
Right.
I'm getting a promotion. I'm a national athlete. Mm-hmm. Screw you, I'm a rock star.
I know that's right. So, so usually at the end of all of my interviews, I always give the interviewee a chance to ask me anything if they have a question. So, do you want to ask me anything?
What's your experience been like? You know, in like what's your experience been like being totally blind?
You know, the funny thing is, and I always tell people for myself, even growing up, and my mom and my father and my siblings always joke around with me about this. I always had like the craziest imagination. So it's just like in my head, I just always like envision things being a certain way. And although it surely was not that way, you could never tell me otherwise. So I guess the good thing about me having gone totally blind is that I guess maybe for myself, the transition was really, I'm not going to say easy, but at least better than I thought it would have been. And I think for myself, a lot of that is due to the fact that, like even now in my head, like I have a painted or a picture of where I'm sitting at and what's going on around me. It might not be nothing like that at all, but hey, who could tell me otherwise? So,
right.
Yeah. So, although I have definitely had challenges and still I'm going through challenges and probably will continue to go through challenges, for myself, I feel like doing things like these interviews or participating in a group such as this essentially is what keeps me motivated to kind of try to keep going. And I think that's the main thing. So it's been tough at times. Sometimes you want to throw in the towel, but you find the strength to keep getting up and moving on. And that's where I'm at.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Michelle. So from Canada, the judo national national athlete, right? And you said you're going for the Pan Ams?
I went to the Pan Ams. I actually am the current 2019 Pan American champion in my weight class.
What? All right.
Yeah. So we're shooting for Paralympics, man. We're shooting for Paralympics. If and when the qualifiers are back up running, hopefully it's going to be the summer of 2021. I'm hoping to go kick some major ass in the Grand Prix over in Europe, and then fly off to Tokyo for Paralympics. So fingers crossed.
All right. Well, we are definitely sending good vibes your way. And yeah, you guys don't hesitate to reach out to her. I think she would love to speak to you guys. Yeah. So,
just send me a message before you send me a friend request. That's all.
Right. Say it again. I know that's right. So, yeah. So, again, you guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of This Is Us, and we'll be hollering at you later.